Epic heartbreak. No one attended the CEO's daughter's party until one boy changed everything. The grand entrance to the Wilcox estate loomed like a castle under a stormy sky, its twinkling lights barely piercing the thick gloom. Mia Wilcox, the CEO's only daughter, stood alone on the marble steps, her heart racing and breath hitching as she checked her watch for the 10th time. Just her and the ominous sound of the front door creaking in the wind. It was her 16th birthday, and the expectations were stratospheric. Everyone said kids would kill to get an invite. So, where was everyone? Suddenly, a figure darted from the shadows across the expansive lawn, cloaked in the haze of twilight. Mia squinted, hope flooding her chest. Was it someone? It turned out to be just a stray cat. The moment shattered, leaving behind only the sinking pit in her stomach. Not even the party favors? She muttered to herself, a bitter taste creeping into her mouth. Inside, the tables were set with gold cutlery gleaming like unfulfilled promises. An ice sculpture of a unicorn sat majestically, its glimmer dull in the dim light. The laughter and chatter she imagined were no more than silent echoes. Every tick of the clock felt like a judgment. Was it karma? A cruel joke? As she spun around, her heart thudded in her chest, barely beating against the heavy air. The outside world felt like it was fading away while she lingered in that moment, fighting back tears, not willing to admit how devastated she felt. Each empty chair was like a dagger to her heart. The anticipation that everyone would turn up weighed on her. Just one person, one friend, she whispered, reminding herself it wasn't the end of the world. Oh, but how wrong she was. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Mia heard footsteps crunching on the gravel. Could it be? She held her breath, hope flickering inside her. Was it possible for someone to walk through that gate? The silhouette drew closer, moving gracefully, like an apparition rising from the depths of her despair. Who was it? As the figure stepped into the light, she couldn't believe her eyes. It was Tim, the boy from school who always sat alone in the cafeteria, quietly observing the chaos around him. Did he really come just for her? Hope, once a fragile ember, flared back to life, igniting curiosity. Why was he there? What would happen next in this tale of solitude? Would this stranger be the one to change everything? Tim's eyes were wide, caught between surprise and concern as he stood at the foot of the steps, his shaggy hair tousled by the wind. Mia felt her heart race faster. Could this really be happening? The boy who barely spoke to anyone had shown up. The sound of the wind howled around them, but it felt like the world had shrunk to just the two of them. Mia, he started, hesitating, I saw the lights from down the road. His voice trailed off, and Mia could see his cheeks flush under the dim lights. It was endearing and nerve-wracking all at once. I thought it would just be, more lively, Mia said, her voice cracking slightly. It felt almost embarrassing to admit how lonely she had been. But it looks like I'm the only one here. Tim shifted his weight, looking up at her, a faint smile breaking through his uncertainty. Well, it's not just you. I'm here now. A wave of warmth washed over her. Maybe this wasn't going to be the disaster she'd imagined. She stepped off the steps and approached him, her heart lifting just a little. Do you want to come inside? I mean, it's my birthday even if I have no guests. He hesitated again, glancing back at the empty driveway as if he expected a crowd to materialize at any moment. But it remained just them, shrouded in shadows. I guess I could stay for a bit, he said, and that felt like a victory. Inside the house, the silence hit them like a blanket. The grand foyer, filled with glimmering decorations, felt even more eerie with just two people. Tim looked around, taking in the surreal atmosphere of muted elegance. "This is something." "Yeah. Something," Mia echoed, sensing an awkwardness creeping back, but before she could crumble under the weight of her thoughts, Tim walked to the ice sculpture, its icy surface shimmering despite the lack of excitement. He touched it lightly, his face an interesting mixture of awe and uncertainty. "Did you really want a big party? Or were you hoping for something different?" It shocked her how keenly he saw through her. I thought it would mean something. You know, being popular or something. But it just feels lonely." Tim turned, his expression softening. "Popularity is overrated," he said quietly, and there was a sincerity in his tone that wrapped around her like a warm hug. The moment hung between them, fragile, yet electric. Mia fought back the surge of emotions threatening to spill over. "I just want to be seen, I guess. Like everyone else." "Hey," he said, stepping closer, "you're seen. Right here, right now." Just when relief began to settle in, the door slammed violently against the wall, echoing through the hall. Mia jumped, heart thudding loud enough to drown out the moment. A group of her so-called friends pushed inside, laughing hysterically, a whirlwind of energy that felt like a harsh contrast to the intimacy she had just begun to experience with Tim. "Surprise!" they chorused, their voices higher than the tension in the air. Mia's stomach dropped. They were late. Why were they even there? Tim's smile faltered. Confusion clouded his features as he took a step back. "I should, go?" "No. Wait." Mia reached for him, panic surfacing. But the moment hung heavy, teetering on a knife's edge. The laughter of her friends washed over her, drowning out the real connection she had felt moments before. Would she lose this chance with Tim too? As buyers of laughter filled the room, Tim began to slip away, shadows consuming his figure. Just like that, the chance for something real felt on the brink of slipping away. Mia could feel her heart racing through her chest. What if she made a choice now that she couldn't take back? But there was something Tim was keeping close, something about him that felt important, and now it seemed to fade like the evening light. Would she chase after him and unravel the truth of the extraordinary connection that had sparked? Or would she succumb to the pressures of expectation? The night had thrown a curveball, and Mia couldn't ignore the sense that she was standing on the edge of a choice that could change everything. Would she let fear win or take a leap into the unknown? The laughter reverberated through the walls, clashing with the silence Mia had just experienced with Tim. It felt like a betrayal, a cruel reminder of the superficial bonds that tied her to a group of friends who didn't see her. With each laugh, each squeal, Mia's heart twisted tighter, as if it were being pulled in two directions. "Mia, we thought you'd be alone," one of her friends squeaked, breathless from their chaotic entrance. They gathered around her, the clamor drowning out her thoughts, but keeping her heart silently screaming. Tim was just a few steps away, visibly shrinking under the collective attention. The glow of the party stripped away the intimacy they had shared, leaving him feeling awkward and out of place. He shuffled back towards the door, casting a fleeting glance over his shoulder as if he were measuring his next move. Desperation bloomed inside Mia, forcing her to act. "Guys, just hold on." Her voice broke through their chatter. "Simon, let us party." Another friend chimed in, waving a bottle of sparkling juice. The empty bottle gleamed like a trophy, a glaring reminder of the very modern facade they were all so eager to uphold. "No, you don't understand." Tim she faltered, the weight of the situation pinning her down. Did they even care? Did they know how much this mattered? The realization hit her like a cold wave. He's important. Who cares? One of them shrugged, her attention already drifting back to the music. But Mia's heart knew. She cared. For one fleeting moment, she had felt seen, truly seen by Tim, and she couldn't let that slip away without a fight. "Tim!" She called again, her voice louder this time, demanding attention. For a heartbeat, the merry chaos halted. Eyes flickered toward her as Tim paused in his retreat, uncertainty etched across his features. Their gazes locked. Mia's heart pounded furiously, and she pushed through her friends, feeling like she was breaking free from chains. "Stay," she urged, desire igniting in her chest. "Please." Tim hesitated, the shadows dancing around him accentuating the confusion on his face. The weight of the choice pushed heavily on her, the expectation of her friends versus the rare connection she felt with this boy who had stepped into the light of her yearning. The silence between them stretched, echoing with possibility, but the party behind her buzzed with indifference. "Come on, it's my birthday. I want you here," she added, vulnerability slipping into her words. Tim's expression softened, a flicker of hope breaking through the haze of uncertainty. I guess I can stay for a little longer," he replied, hesitating as if weighing the decision against the laughter that resumed behind her. She beamed, but the moment of relief was short-lived. The air shifted abruptly, a tension thick enough to cut, a warmth turning to a chill. The door swung shut behind him with an ominous thud, as if sealing them in a fragile bubble apart from the noise. "Let us go dance," her friends urged, pulling Mia back, but all she could focus on was Tim's frame standing alone amid the chaos. "Wait." Mia turned on her heels, her observant instincts alarming her. A figure stood just outside the window, an unfamiliar face staring into the house with an intensity that sent chills rippling through her. "Who's that?" she murmured, adrenaline replacing joy. Tim caught her gaze, his eyes narrowing. "I don't know, but they're definitely not invited." Mia's stomach dropped. The night, once alive with potential, now felt ominous. Shadows continued to gather, threatening the fragile connection she'd worked so hard to reclaim. What did this stranger want? And why did it feel like something darker was creeping into her special night? "Stay close," Mia whispered to Tim, a new fear igniting. Her breathing quickened as the figure at the window shifted, disappearing into the depths of the night. Awkward conversations and laughter faded away, leaving only her heartbeat echoing in her ears. What had she opened the door to? And how would she protect the moments she desperately craved? As dread settled in, she realized. The night was far from over, it was only just beginning. The laughter faded into the background, replaced by a murmur of confusion. Mia's heart raced as she scanned the room, her friends oblivious to her rising panic. Tim stood close, but his eyes were locked on where the shadow had vanished, uncertainty threading through his expression. "Mia, what is going on?" one of her friends asked, a slight frown creeping across her face. "You're acting weird." "Yeah, it's just a party," another added, rolling her eyes as she fidgeted with her drink. "It's not just a party," Mia whispered, her voice trembling as she gripped Tim's arm. "Didn't you see that person?" Tim nodded slowly, still peering outside where the figure had been. "Maybe it's just someone passing by." His tone lacked conviction, and Mia could see he was just as uneasy as she was. The laughter resumed behind them, but a cold shower of dread spooled through the room. The vibrant decorations, bright colors, and loud music felt like a stark contrast to the sense of impending doom that was swallowing her whole. "Let us go check it out," Mia suggested, pulling Tim toward the dark hallway leading to the back door. "Are you sure?" He hesitated, but she could see the curiosity flickering in his eyes, battling against his caution. "Just please. I need to know." With hesitant steps, they crept towards the back door, leaving the warmth of the party for the cool air just outside. The stars blinked mockingly above them, and shadows danced wildly beneath the porch light. Every nerve in Mia's body screamed for her to turn back, but she pushed forward. This was her night, and she refused to let fear govern it. Reaching the edge of the porch, they peered out into the darkness. The yard that was filled with party revelers and laughter felt eerily empty. Mia squinted and then gasped. There. She pointed into the distance. The figure was back. It loomed at the edge of the trees, perfectly still. A white hood covered its face, blending seamlessly with the pale trunks and branches behind it. What do they want? Tim's voice was barely above a whisper. I don't know. Panic coursed through Mia. But something feels wrong. The figure took a step forward, breaking the outline against the night sky. Mia felt her heart pound violently in her chest as it raised its arm. Was it waving? There's no way they're here just to say hello, Tim warned, taking a half-step back. Mia grabbed his hand, grounding herself in the warmth of his presence. We need to get back, she urged, but her eyes remained locked on the figure. As if sensing her gaze, it abruptly turned and vanished deeper into the trees, swallowed whole by the darkness. See? Tim urged, pulling Mia back towards the light of the house. Let us just go inside. Maybe they were just lost. But that flurry of uncertainty ignited a different kind of fear in Mia. What if they know something? What if her voice trailed off into the night air, heavy with implications that hung like fog? She had always been the girl who thought she could smooth over every wrinkle, every crack. Tonight though, cracks were forming fast, threatening to fracture everything she held dear. The music from the party began to fade, the noise outside dying down. Wait! Mia blurted suddenly, her breath catching. What if they're looking for someone? What if they're looking for me? Tim's eyes widened, a chill slicing through the air between them. What do you mean? But before she could answer, her phone buzzed violently in her pocket. She fumbled to pull it out, swiping the screen to reveal an unknown number. The message opened with a single line, I see you. Sick dread pooled in her stomach, and she instinctively stepped closer to Tim, who mirrored her fear. This isn't just a random person, is it? He murmured, his voice thick with disbelief. Mia felt the weight of the night bearing down on her. The laughter, the music, all of it now seemed like a distant memory. The thrill of the party spiraled into something darker. What had she gotten herself into? What secrets lurked beneath the bright facade? As her heartbeat thundered in her ears, she cast a lingering glance back toward the house and then into the dark expanse of the trees. Something sinister was there waiting. And as the night unfolded, every moment would draw them deeper into the peril she had never expected to face. What would happen next? What was waiting for her just out of sight in the shadows? Mia felt a twinge of nausea as her mind spun with the implications of that chilling text. I see you. The shadows loomed larger, pressing in like a noose around her neck, tightening with every beat of her racing heart. She couldn't breathe, fear coursed through her veins like ice. What do we do? Her voice trembled, betraying her composure. Tim shifted uncomfortably beside her, glancing back toward the house, his brows knit in concentration. We can't just stand here. We should go back inside, find your friends. No. Mia snapped, the urgency of the situation igniting her voice. If they're looking for me, we need to find out what they want first. Tim shot her a questioning look. You can't be serious. We have no idea who or what we're dealing with. But her determination grew fiercer, an ember in the smothering darkness. If they wanted to hurt me, they wouldn't have sent a message. This is a warning. Not an attack. Not yet. A rustle in the trees interrupted their argument, like a whisper of dread carried by the wind. They both turned instinctively to the sound, fear clawing at their throats. Did you hear that? Tim said, his voice barely above a whisper. Yeah, but it could just be an animal. Her mind rejected the thought. She felt the ground shift beneath her. With each second that passed, the weight of uncertainty grew heavier. Or it could be the person in the hood, Tim countered, his anxiety leaking into every word. Exactly, Mia agreed, growing bolder. They're close. We can't just walk away. We need to find them. Find them? Are you out of your mind? Panic flared in Tim's eyes. But Mia was done feeling like a victim. What if they're trying to warn me about something happening at the party? Something dangerous? With her heart pounding in sync with Tim's stifled protests, she pushed past him, heading toward the line of trees. Each step was treacherous, echoing in her mind like a countdown. Mia, wait! He hissed, but she pressed on, driven by fear and an inexplicable compulsion. Branches snagged at her clothes as she ventured deeper into the darkness, the rustling growing louder. A chill wrapped around her, whispering warnings. She could feel Tim's hesitation behind her, watchful but unwilling to take that brave leap into the unknown. Mia, he finally called softly, his voice trembling. Please come back. She took a deep breath, ignoring the way her heart screamed for her to stop. If there's a chance they know something, I have to take it. She stepped forward, half expecting the figure to materialize from the shadows. Just as she dared to hope, the soft light of the moon danced upon the clearing ahead, revealing something glinting amongst the roots. Look! Mia shouted, her breath hitching. Reaching down, she picked up a small silver object, the surface reflecting the moonlight with a haunting glow. What is that? Tim stepped cautiously beside her, squinting. It looks like a locket, but before she could open it, the air surged with tension, a presence behind them stirring the brush. They both froze, a primal instinct warning them they were not alone. The hairs on the back of Mia's neck prickled. Tim stepped in front of her, shielding her with his body. Who's there? He shouted, his brave stance hiding the tremor in his voice. Then, a shadow stepped out from the trees, the figure they had seen before. The hooded figure took a slow step forward. You shouldn't have come out here. Mia's breath caught, and as her heart thundered in her chest, she clutched the locket more tightly, something that felt both threatening and strangely significant uncurling inside her. What do you want? Tim demanded, stepping closer, every inch of him brimming with defiance. The figure paused, a chilling silence falling around them, and then a whisper pierced the air. You're closer to the truth than you realize, but it comes at a price. Mia's mind raced. The intent behind those words, the weight they carried, pulled her in like a magnet. What truth? What price? As the night deepened, the darkness climbed higher, constricting around them. And at that moment, she knew the fight was just beginning. What truth lay hidden in the shadows? And what price would she have to pay to uncover it? The hooded figure took another step, the shadows swirling around them like a living entity. Mia could feel the icy grip of fear tightening around her throat. What truth? She croaked out, clenching the locket into her palm, as if its weight could anchor her to reality. Do not ask questions you might not be ready to hear, the figure replied, their voice as smooth as silk yet cutting through the tension like a knife. Mia felt a pang of defiance ignite inside her. Try me, she shot back, her voice steadier than she felt. Tim shifted nervously behind her, but she fronted the figure, unwilling to back down. You can't protect everyone, the whispering voice continued, an unsettling edge creeping into the silence. What has been hidden from you will unravel, but it will shatter everything you know. What do you mean? Tim interrupted, his eyes darting, desperate for any sign of withdrawal from the figure. Just tell us what is going on. Laughter echoed from the figure, a low, haunting sound that sent chills racing down Mia's spine. Ah, the brave knight. The truth is not for the faint of heart. You wish to protect her, but trust me, the danger hides where you least expect it. Mia stepped closer, feeling the electric charge in the air. Just tell us. We can handle it, she pleaded, her voice shaking slightly. Very well, the figure conceded, tilting their head slightly, the hood falling back just enough to reveal a glimpse of pale skin, shadows hiding their features but their eyes gleaming bright and painful. You were never just a girl celebrating a birthday. There are layers of darkness surrounding you, secrets written into your veins. But tonight, you must choose, seek the truth, or retreat into the safety of ignorance. What secrets? Her heart swelled with a mix of dread and hope. What do you want from me? Your courage has brought you this far, but courage alone won't shield you from the price you must face. Tonight will change everything. You must gather your friends. The locket will show you your path, but beware, not everyone is who they seem. The figure turned slowly, as if the very shadows themselves were pulling them back. Remember, Mia, the voice echoed, fading into the night. The truth has its own hunger. It demands sacrifices. Before they could respond, the figure melted into the darkness, and an unbearable silence enveloped them. Mia glanced at Tim, whose face was drained of color. We need to go back, tell them, he stammered, his breath heavy with disbelief. Mia's heart was racing. No, she said, determination burning bright. Not until we understand what this means. The locket, there's something about it. It has to mean something. Releasing her grip, she opened the locket to reveal a tiny, folded piece of paper inside. Her hands trembled as she unfolded it, revealing a scrawled message. Follow the shadows. Trust no one. What the hell does that mean? Tim glanced around, paranoia creeping in as the woods closed in around them. I don't know, Mia whispered, her blood running cold, but we can't give up now. Suddenly, the sound of distant laughter erupted through the trees, a chilling contrast to the void of the clearing. It drifted like a taunt, a reminder that the party was still going on, oblivious to the cataclysmic shifts unfolding just outside its walls. Mia caught Tim's worried gaze, full of uncertainty. We need to find our friends and unravel this together. If we leave now, it'll all be lost. Just as she turned to lead them back, a sharp crack pierced the air, followed by rustling in the brush behind them. The fear that had momentarily receded crashed back in waves. Tim grabbed her arm tightly. Did you hear that? We're not alone. The underbrush shifted again, and a figure loomed, cloaked in darkness, just at the edge of the clearing. Mia's heart trembled in her chest. Who was it now? Stay close, she whispered, as the shadows merged into something more sinister. What awaited them under the cloak of night? And would the truth she sought cost her everything? The figure in the shadows stepped forward, revealing a silhouette that sent shivers down Mia's spine. An icy fog rolled in from the forest, swirling around them, making it hard to see. Whatever was lurking beyond the tree line was closing in. Who are you? Mia shouted, her voice carrying a mix of defiance and raw fear. Tim tightened his grip on her arm, his pulse pounding like a war drum against her skin. I am the answer to your call, the figure replied, stepping into the fray of dim light. The cloak fell away, and Mia's breath hitched. It was no stranger, it was someone from the party, a boy she barely knew but recognized from the chatter and laughter that had filled the night until moments ago. Jake? She gasped. What are you doing out here? He looked different, eyes wide with something unrecognizable, shadowed by a guilt that made her shiver. I came looking for you. I heard some of what you were talking about. What do you mean, some of what we were talking about? Tim interjected, his voice strained, trying to mask an underlying tension. It's the locket, Jake said, motioning toward it. I've seen it before. It belonged to someone important. You have to understand, Mia. It's not just a piece of jewelry, it's a key. A key? Mia's heart raced. What do you mean? He stepped closer, his breath visible in the chill air. It unlocks the truth. The darkness, it's drawn to it, and it will consume anyone who holds it without knowing the cost. What cost? Mia felt a pressure building in her chest, a foreboding certainty that this was only the start of the unraveling. Jake hesitated, glancing at the depths of the woods. We need to get back. There's something more out there and they're coming. Tim asked, panic creeping in, who's they? Just then, sharp laughter echoed again, closer this time, infectious, playful and utterly menacing. Mia's blood ran cold. It sounded like the laughter from the party, but twisted, as if inheriting a sinister edge. They were playing a game, but not the one she'd signed up for. Jake backed away, urgency in his eyes. We have to move. Now. Before Mia could process the warning, a figure darted past the trees, the shadows intersecting with the soft glow of moonlight, fleeting like a ghost. Tim instinctively pulled Mia behind him as they braced for whatever nightmare was about to emerge. Is it them? She whispered, trembling. They've been searching for you, Jake revealed, his face taut with seriousness. You're part of something much bigger. And if they get to you first, another crack echoed through the trees, louder this time, causing the branches to tremble as though the forest itself was alive with menace. Mia's heart raced. The darkness was no longer just a backdrop, it was alive, threatening to consume everything she knew. They want the locket, Jake urged. And they won't stop until they get it. Mia's mind whirled. The weight of the locket in her pocket felt heavier, a burning secret, an invitation to dangers she had no plans of facing. Let us go. Mia commanded, a surge of bravery propelling her forward. They turned to flee. But before they could take another step, shadows erupted from the trees, figures shrouded in darkness converging with hellish speed, blocking their escape. Panic clawed at her throat. What now? Jake's face was set with determination, but doubt flickered in the depths of his eyes. We fight. But in that moment, uncertainty flooded Mia's thoughts. Was that truly the answer? Could they confront the nightmares waiting for them? Or was the truth behind the locket destined to bring only despair? As they were encircled, the night deepened, thickening with suspense. What sacrifice would the truth demand? And was Mia prepared to pay the price? In the distance, a haunting melody began to rise, a song of both warning and promise, echoing through the trees, beckoning them closer to the terrifying unknown. What awaited them on the journey for the truth? And when forced to confront their demons, would they be prepared for the consequences? The shadows closed in tighter, and Mia's heart raced, a relentless drumbeat of fear. The figures lurking just beyond the faint halo of their light were human in shape but devoid of humanity. Dark eyes glimmered as they moved, almost liquid, and the laughter that had once stirred memories of joy now screeched like a siren in the night, echoing in her mind. Jake! Tim shouted, his voice breaking through an unbearable tension. What do we do? We can't let them take you, Jake said, urgency threading through each word. He reached into his pocket, fumbling for something that glinted in the moonlight, a small dagger, its blade sharp and fearsome. Mia's breath hitched at the sight. You have a weapon? Is that going to help us? He shook his head. It's for the truth. It can protect you if you're willing to fight for it. Fight? Panic flashed across Tim's face, and Mia felt her own nerves fraying. The enchanted locket burned in her pocket, a constant reminder of the peril awaiting them. Was she really ready to battle whatever terrifying thing wanted it? Before they could strategize, a low growl rumbled from the darkness, resonating deep within her bones. The figures edged closer, their forms becoming clearer. They wore masks, the kind that hid the twisted smiles she had glimpsed before, crafted to terrify rather than entertain. Mia's instinct screamed at her to run, but she stood frozen, torn between the instinct to flee and the need to protect the truth that swirled around her life like a tempest. Trust in the locket, Jake urged, his voice cutting through Mia's panic. It chose you for a reason. Hold on to it tightly. As if hearing his words, the locket began to hum softly, a melody barely noticeable over the escalating chaos. It pulsed like a heartbeat, grounding her as she felt a strange connection to everything around her, the trees, the shadows, and the fear pressing in from all sides. She nodded sharply, shaking off the paralysis. She had no choice but to trust Jake. We fight. Her voice resonated with newfound strength, surprising even her. With that declaration, Jake charged forward, slicing the air with the dagger as the first shadow leapt towards them. The clash echoed in the stillness, a sharp, harrowing sound that ricocheted among the trees. Mia's heart pounded as warmth splashed against her, but she couldn't afford to waver. Tim grabbed her hand, urgency and desperation in his grip. Don't look back. Just keep moving. The three of them darted into the heart of the shadows, fueled by adrenaline and terror. The laughter persisted, hauntingly close, but behind it lay crackling whispers that promised chaos. "Mia!" Jake called, his voice urgent. "The truth lies in the shadows. We need to reach the old stone altar. It's the only way to sever their hold on you." "Altar?" Mia's mind flared with questions even as her feet betrayed her, propelling her deeper into the tangled mess of bark and branches. What altar? Why was everything happening so fast? A figure lunged at them, a dark shape with a gaping maw that seemed to grow wider, ready to swallow them whole. In one swift motion, Jake pierced the creature with his dagger, the blade glowing as it made contact, sending shockwaves through the air. "Go, go!" he shouted, his voice laced with urgency as the shadow writhed in pain, momentarily stunned. As they pressed forward, the depths of the haunted forest began to glow faintly, like fireflies igniting a passage through the chaos. Mia couldn't shake the feeling that each step drew them closer to something monumental, a revelation, or perhaps the reckoning of darker truths. "Mia!" Tim yelled, pulling her back as she stumbled, her mind racing. "Why did you even take the locket? What do you know?" "I don't know," she gasped, panic slipping through her resolve. "But I'll figure it out. I have to." Just then, the haunting melody rose again, clearer now, calling to her like a siren demanding attention. The pull was undeniable, promising awareness or destruction. Would they reach the altar in time? And if they did, what other truths might emerge from its depths, revealing more than Mia was willing to confront? The shadows quaked, almost as if they awaited her answer, as darkness closed in behind them, threatening to snuff out the fragile flicker of hope they carried into the night. The glow intensified as they moved forward, the trees around them twisting into grotesque shapes, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Each heartbeat drummed inside Mia's ears, a relentless reminder of the danger at their heels. Shadows shifted and darted, eager to swallow them whole. Tim's grip tightened on her hand, and she could feel his panic radiating through the cold night air. "Jake," she managed to whisper, her voice quavering. "What if the altar, what if it doesn't help?" Jake didn't respond, his focus locked ahead. He took a breath, pushing back fear as they continued to advance. It felt like they were racing against a clock counting down to their last moment. The chanting carried on in hushed tones, and the laughter morphed into something sinister, echoing in the stillness. Mia's thoughts tangled in a web of confusion and dread, but she forced herself to keep moving. As they reached a clearing, the altar came into view, bathed in a spectral light that flickered like a dying star. Riveted by its presence, Mia felt a tug in her chest, drawing her closer. Whispers encircled her like a whispering tempest, louder now. They carried words she barely understood. "Step forward, chosen one." Instinctively, she halted, breath caught in her throat. "What does that mean?" she asked, glancing from Jake to the altar, trying to glean any hint of reassurance from either. "It means you're meant to stop this," Jake shouted. Fear flickered in his eyes, but there was something else too, a spark of hope. "But you need to unite with the locket." Mia's fingers brushed against the surface of the locket, which pulsed against her palm, urging her forward. Just as she took a step closer, the laughter exploded into a cacophony, and shadows rushed to engulf them, a tide of blackness crashing against their fragile defenses. "Hold on!" Jake shouted, lunging towards a shadow that leapt through the air, its mask reflecting an unearthly shine. His dagger connected with a force that sent energy radiating around them, illuminating the clearing in a blinding flash. "Now, Mia! Now!" Tim shouted, his voice slicing through the chaos. With every ounce of courage she could muster, Mia approached the altar. The whispers were a song now, wrapping around her like a warm embrace. She could feel the warmth of the locket growing hotter, guiding her. Gathering her thoughts, she concentrated, summoning every shred of truth buried deep within her. "Show me." She cried out, clutching the locket with both hands. The shadows stilled momentarily, shadows freezing in their chase, as a wave of light exploded from the locket. Suddenly, a vision flashed before her, a scene so vivid it felt absolutely real. A sprawling mansion, laughter, and joy. Friends she had lost, people she had turned away. The memory cut deep, igniting a pang of regret. She could feel their happiness, what she sacrificed by isolating herself. But mixed within was something darker, a foretelling of her connection to the shadows enveloping her now. Tim gasped, shock and fear painted on his face. "Mia, what do you see?" "I don't know," she shouted, her heart racing. "But I can't let this happen. They want to use me. They want to control me." In that moment, the shadows writhed, as if sensing her resolve. They recoiled, energy crackling in the air, yet their laughter transformed into a screech, a violent protest. "We're losing them," Jake yelled, desperation coursing through his voice as they began to close in again, swirling around Mia in a threatening embrace. "Focus," she shouted over the rising chaos. "If I'm meant to stop this, then I need to understand it. I need to find my truth." As she spoke those words, the light from the locket surged, driving back the shadows even further. Mia felt a raw energy building within her, one she didn't fully grasp. It was empowering, exhilarating yet terrifying, but did she truly understand the felt gravity of what she had to confront? The dagger in Jake's hand glinted dangerously as he kept the encroaching shadows at bay. "Do it, Mia. Claim your truth." His voice rang out. Fierce and unwavering. In that instant, she realized the shadows didn't only want the locket, they wanted her. They were bound to her, and unleashing her truth might save them all or doom them forever. With a heart full of uncertainties and courage, she reached into the depths of the locket's energy, prepared to uncover the truth, as a dark force surged forward, eager to reclaim its power. "Together," she shouted to her friends. "We end this now." But in the aftermath of her conviction, could she withstand the forces that sought to drown her in darkness, or would the altar reveal even deeper, darker truths? As the light from the locket grew brighter, swirling around Mia like a protective barrier, she felt an electric connection to it. The shadows hissed, a chorus of swirling darkness protesting against the blinding brilliance. "You have to control it," Jake shouted, thrusting the dagger again into the nearest shadow, buying them precious moments. "Believe in each other," Tim urged, his voice steadying her racing heart. "You've shown courage already. This is the moment to trust in the bond we share." Mia took a deep breath, the warmth radiating from the locket seeping into her veins. "Together," she cried, her heart pounding. "We end this now." The whirlwind of light intensified, illuminating the altar in an ethereal glow. With her body trembling, she closed her eyes, focusing not on the shadows, but on her truth. Memories flashed before her, laughter with loved ones, moments of joy overshadowed by doubt, and glimpses of the boy standing before her now, bravely facing the darkness. In that instant, clarity came. She wasn't just the CEO's daughter isolated by expectations, nor the girl desperate for validation. She was the one who had the power to choose her path, to forge connections that mattered. "This darkness will not define me," she declared, the words buoyed by newfound determination. With a surge of energy, she thrust her hands outward. The light exploded in a radiant shockwave, pushing against the encroaching shadows. "You will not control us," she roared, her voice echoing through the night. For a moment, everything froze, then, as if the glass holding back the tide had shattered, the shadows recoiled, shrieking as the brightness enveloped them, lifting the dark veil. Mia felt the warmth enveloping her friends, melding them together in a shield of light. Searing pain surged through her. She felt their fears and doubts. They were intertwined, and she wasn't alone. The darkness twisted and contorted, desperate for escape, but Mia stood firm, drawing from the power of their unity. Tim and Jake stood at her side, palms raised in defiance, their energies linked to hers, pulses harmonizing. "Let go!" Mia shouted, her voice fierce against the cacophony of chaos. "Let go of the past. We choose our own future." With one final cry, she released her grip on fear, and the locket pulsed once more before exploding in a brilliant flash. Darkness spiraled away like smoke in the wind, revealing stunned faces of their friends from the party, standing bewildered at the periphery, their expressions a mixture of shock and awe. "Is it over?" Tim panted, breathless as shadows dissolved into the night. Retreating like whispers, Mia looked at her friends, their connections palpable and real, free from the weight of loneliness that had once chained her. "It's just the beginning. We need to understand what this all means," she began, feeling a sense of responsibility come alive within her. Suddenly, they all turned toward the source of the ominous laughter from the darkness, the influenced partygoers, slowly shaking free from the hold of the shadows. Some glanced at Mia with concern, others with newfound respect. She felt a rush of belonging swell, a warmth that had eluded her before. "Are you okay?" an acquaintance hesitantly asked, stepping forward. "What just happened?" Mia took a deep breath, now filled with clarity and purpose. "I'm not sure yet, but I think we all need to be honest and confront what is happening here. There is truth in vulnerability. Together." And as the laughter turned to murmurs of concern and camaraderie, Mia recognized that this was her victory. She was seen, really seen, surrounded by an unlikely friendship forged through shadows and light. With quick glances at Tim and Jake, their acceptance mirrored in their eyes offered her comfort. "It's time to get back inside," she said softly. "Let us show everyone what real connections feel like." As they turned toward the mansion, the atmosphere shifted, fear was replaced with resolve. The night bore no more whispers of dread, but a promise of strength and togetherness. They walked back towards the house side by side, united as they emerged from the darkness into a new dawn. And as Mia stepped back into the party that had once felt so lonely, she could almost hear the distant echo of the past fading away. Her heart, once heavy with sorrow, now pumped with the exhilaration of rebirth. Every step resonated with purpose, bringing hope not only to her own birthday party but to every relationship she began to mend, every truth she would come to uncover. Mia turned one last time to the trees, bathed in moonlight. "I see you and I see me," she murmured softly, finally understanding the echoes that remained. They did not belong to shadows, but to voices of new beginnings, and as laughter bubbled over the threshold of the door, she knew this was not just a night of celebration, but the dawning of a beautiful connection she would cherish dearly. Now, if you loved this wild conclusion, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you never miss out on the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm, and don't wait even one more second to flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. Your thoughts are everything. And remember to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. We appreciate you being a part of our community.